everybody. Good afternoon. So, I am, sorry, the formatting has gone a bit weird there. I'm the founder of Stevenson Law, and in 2017, I founded Stevenson Law because I really had reached my limit. And I'd reached my limits in coping with the traditions of a legal industry that really were forcing me to hide my tattoos in favor of much more boring outfits. My limit for regressive working practices, which were penalizing me because I was a woman and a mother as well. So I'd really reached the point where I'd realized I was better going out on my own than hiding an ounce of who I really was. And so Stevenson Law was born in 2017, and with it, my mission to really drive forward what it means to be a human lawyer. And that's why I'm here today, to talk about the power of the human lawyer with you all now, because for many lawyers out there, and I'm sure that there are some in this room, life as a lawyer is really synonymous with painting yourself grey at the door. And ultimately, we're talking about a career here that we give, on average, 90,000 hours of our lives to. So for me, this is a really, really important topic. So let's dive into some data. So the data is a bit depressing. So 16% of the global workforce feels like, only 16% feels like they can be their authentic self at work. Only 17% of the British workforce claim to love their job, and 84% of working professionals feel that they have to hide themselves at work. So why is this? Why is my thing not working? It's another very important question. Oh, now I've pressed it too many times. No, this is it. Okay. So this is the findings from a research study that looks into the reasons why we might feel like we have to conceal parts of who we are. So, we've got reasons here like we don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. So we're going to make ourselves feel uncomfortable, but we don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. We don't want to be stereotyped. We don't want to hold back our careers. And I'm sure that many of you here today can relate to at least one of the reasons up here. And the data gets even more interesting when we look at the who and not just the why. So the research shows that the pressure to conform is heightened in women and people from minority groups. So we all know that racial and ethnic minorities are underrepresented in the legal industry. And what that does is it makes it a pretty lonely place to be for those individuals. LGBTQIA individuals feel a pressure to conceal parts of their identity, and then they're often penalized if they don't. And women, and I'm sure that there are many here today, will resonate with this. We're often mistaken for the secretary, the assistant, the glorified barista. And then people from the working class, they really struggle to even enter our profession because they're too different, they're too poor to fit the mold that really is unwelcoming by design. So is this it? Is this the destiny of our legal profession? Well, I don't think so, or I wouldn't be standing here today. So we don't wake up one day and become a lawyer and trade in our human card. What happens is that we watch our leaders and we absorb their actions, and we learn over time that success means blending in. And then quietly what happens is we chip away at the things that really make us who we are. They make us stand out. Please work. Okay. It's all good. So the problem here is really twofold. So firstly, what happens is we become less happy and we become a lot more disconnected in a job that we're maybe giving 40 to 50 hours a week of our life to. And we're also continuing this cycle whereby we really believe that in order to succeed, we have to blend in. So for me, the concept of the human lawyer is a rallying cry against decades of stiff tradition, driven by people like myself, and I'm sure many of you here, who are really looking for a much more sustainable and a much more human way to exist in our profession. And these people, like myself, have really hit a wall at some point in their career, and they've been forced to ask themselves some tough questions, like the ones on the screen now. And ultimately, they've been forced to sit with the discomforting answers. And I would really encourage you to do the same if you haven't already, because it really can be a game changer. I'm really sorry, I don't know why the formatting of my slides has gone. I think it's a font issue. So you've asked yourself these questions, so how do you put the answers into practice? What do you do next? Well, ultimately, this comes down to three things. It comes down to conviction. It comes down to a commitment to boundaries, something that I'm not very good at, and I'm sure that lots of people here aren't very good at either. And it comes down to a steadfast refusal to sacrifice who you are for anything. And in practice, what this means is that you are refusing to put a price tag on your beliefs, on your values. So what does that look like? So it's saying no. Most of us lawyers here are not very good at saying no, but you really need to learn to say no and have the courage to stand out from the group. You need to have the courage to express yourself, your inner personality. Express yourself for everybody to see without shame. It's removing the mask at work that gives us so much comfort, but is actually not really doing any of us any good. And finally, most importantly, it's finding your voice, and it's using it, and it's never ever betraying it. Because there really is no right way to be professional, and there's no right way to be successful. It's all good. So is that it? So does the answer lie in, us all doing some self-reflection? Well, not quite. So when I was a lawyer working in traditional law firms, I knew who I was. And confronting that knowledge has really led me to where I am today. But it hasn't helped many of my colleagues who remain confined by businesses that really pride themselves on conformity. And it doesn't help the thousands of new, fresh-faced, enthusiastic lawyers entering our industry, only for them to realize that in order to succeed, they need to blend in. So what's the answer? Well, the answer is that employers really need to commit to change. And this change ultimately really does benefit them, because we know that companies with gender diversity earn 41% more revenue. Ethnically diverse teams are 35% more likely to perform better, and diverse teams are 70% more likely to capture new markets. So the data really is very compelling here. And what employers need to commit to doing is building a culture that promotes diversity of thought, background, self-expression, and belief. So until our industry catches up, I'm going to continue to shout about the power of the human lawyer. And as the founder of a law firm that has scaled purely thanks to its people, I've witnessed firsthand the power of the human lawyer, and I firmly believe that it's the route to happier lawyers, happier clients, and better business overall. Thank you.